Hello everyone, Ian here at NAB 2016. I have come over to speak to Tim at Chrosziel with his Magnum focus unit. Now, before we get into all the particulars about this focus unit, I just want to describe what NAB is like from a signal broadcasting point of view. We are in a warehouse, a giant warehouse. I mean, this is easily 3 or 4 football fields of equipment we're surrounded by. And let me tell you, any equipment manufacturer that says they have no problem with signal to and from devices, you really have to prove it here, because I've seen plenty of video transmitters promise on paper, and it's a different story when they get into this, just because there's so many signals in this place. Not just transmitters, but just transmissions in general get very challenged in this building. So to that end, it's an interesting way to show one of the unique features of the Magnum. Tim, can you show us how you go in and get a strong signal to your receiver?
Yeah, I will be happy to do so. So basically in the Magnum hand unit, we have a spectrum analyzer, and you go into the menu by the middle button, and then it's called radio channel, and if you go in there, you will see these red bars. This is all traffic. If you're on let's say a cine setup, normally you would have maybe 1-2 bars of wireless video, wireless audio. In here you see it's just red. It's really all red. We are still able to transmit without problems to our receiver because it's all digital encoded, so you don't have to worry about that. But if we're talking about long ranges, going far away from your camera, you want to have a very reliable system. So then you would go in here, check where it's the best channel to go there, and take it from there. What you have to know about the system is it's dual band transmission. So we have a gigahertz antenna in here and a megahertz antenna in here. If you look at these channels, the first 5 ones are megahertz. They are pretty free. Actually, if I was having a tough shoot in here, I would switch to megahertz and would feel pretty confident that everything worked fine.
And just so we understand, we'll get a close-up of this for everyone to see, but the green square indicates the frequency that we are working on right now.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And if there's a set where nothing is working, hardwire it, and so you could do that as well with a direct connection. But okay. I have never heard about that somebody had to use it.
I noticed that the surrounding frequencies are affected by it, or the unit's reception of those frequencies is slightly changing. This is continuously analyzing the surroundings. So sometimes there are Wi-Fi routers who would only send every 3 seconds maybe a signal through. So you have to see in gigahertz, there's Wi-Fi routers, cell phones, wireless audio, wireless video. So there's so much transmission inside. That's why we said, no, we don't go the route of everybody just having transmission in the gigahertz. So we do it in the megahertz as well for safe transmission. So once we get this and we can clearly see visually that we have the cleanest frequency possible, let's talk about some of the other features in the handset, because you've got some very nice features built into it. Such as on the back, for example.
The what? I'm sorry?
On the back, if we go into the design on the back.
Yeah. So what we have done is users were asking us, hey, I want not only focus and iris, can you make it a third channel? I want zoom functionality. So what we did was like, okay, this hand unit is ergonomically designed. How can we integrate a zoom possibility hardware-wise that it is still high usability? And so we started talking with our ACs. We developed it, by the way, with ACs. And they said, hey, what about a zoom rocker in the back? And we were going like, oh, that's a nice idea, let's do that. So we came up with the idea of putting this zoom rocker on the back of your hand unit, and it's actually transmitting wirelessly inside the unit. So you can take it off and on, no cabling, no connector. It's everything waterproof on this section, and hermetically sealed.
So you have the form factor here, so it makes it very comfortable to hold and to hold everything steady.
Yeah.
And you're just letting your 2 fingers do the zoom,
and
you're not having to use your thumb.
Yes.
You can use your thumb for iris.
For iris, that's right. And we actually designed it in a way, there are some operators who love to do it with 1 finger. So that's why we have this little bar in the middle here. So you can either work with 1 finger or you work with 2 fingers, depending on what you prefer.
Okay. And I also noticed a nice little addition of the light.
Yeah, so it's a LED gooseneck light. It can be attached to the unit, and then you have these assignable user keys. And what we did before was we assigned one of the user keys for the LED turn on or turn off. So if I press it, it goes on, and press again, it turns off.
Okay. And also, interesting little addition down here. Can you tell us about this little?
Yeah, so basically this is our holster adapter. So what you can do is some even doing while they are shooting, but what you can do is you can slide it into your belt holster and have your hand free, or you could even shoot and go again, hold your monitor in your hand and you just shoot like this. So that's no problem. And it's very easy to get it back out. And people love it. One of our ACs, they were using that and they directly bought it afterwards on a demo.
It's such a small thing, but it's a big thing on a set.
Big usability is very important, and that's something we always focus on. Usability of the weight of the unit, ergonomically designed, easy. Like when you set something up, it directly is assigned to it. It's not much you have to do in the menu. We are trying to stay out of the menu as much as possible for the user to help him to work with the unit.
Yeah, and having 4 user buttons facilitates that. It makes that very, you can realize that easily.
Yeah.
We have to ask the normal things. You have expanded focus, so if we want to just use the full rotation for a short range of focus, is possible?
Yes, that's basically possible. It's like competitors doing that as well. So what you would do is, for us, you go to the first position, then you assign a user key that's right now assigned to user key 3, press that button for a long time. When it starts blinking, it records the first point. Go to the out point and then let it go. So now this point, these 2 points on the lens are now assigned to the full turn of the focus wheel.
And importantly, you have a visual cue that this is the mode it's in.
Yeah, and now we're getting into the special thing is you're on camera B and you have assigned it to a lens from 10 feet to 100 feet, and now the slate comes in, let's say at 1 feet. How do you want to focus it? Because the nearest point is like 10 feet. So here we go is press that button to release it, focus on this 1 feet away slate. As soon as the slate goes out, press that button again and you have recalled your setting on what you wanted to work on.
It's like the fastener for the belt plate. It's this little thing, but it's a big thing.
That's another AC. He was seeing that. He said, "Tim, this is big. This is huge. I want it." And and now he's actually using it right now at Grace and Frankie's show. It's a Netflix series, season 3, I think, on their camera for that.
Now, having known Chrosziel products for more years than I want to tell you.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things that I always liked about even the early focuses, I want you to comment on this, was the ability, if we pop the scale off, we have the ability to dampen the resistance or increase or decrease the resistance of the focus wheel.
That's right. What we basically did was we had this mechanical follow focus and we developed that and improved it over 40 years of our experience. That was one of our first products. And we just cut it off and put it on here. So now the fluid is on here and you have this little button. You press that button, turn it a little bit, and now I have it a little bit more stiff. Or if I want it a little bit more responsive, here I would maybe want to do it a little bit less so that I can do it very easily. And you have to see it's always a fluid. And a fluid dampening doesn't mean it's dragging anything. It's really feeling a nice way, and it's not a little break which is kind of dragging around it.
So it's a fluid drive, or is it the sensation of a fluid drive?
No, it's a fluid inside, and you're changing the pressure of the fluid inside.
Okay, so it's not discs that...
No. And that's why it feels so different to the other users, what they're doing.
Okay, and the question you're going to get from ACs, temperature, rain?
Well, let's talk about rain. This iris slider, for example, is hermetically sealed. There's no connection between the outside slider to the inside, but there are some connectors. So if you fill in water in these connectors, of course, we're going to have a problem. But we have done everything which can make it let's say, splash waterproof kind of everything. You cannot go diving with this.
Right, of course.
I'm sorry. That's not possible right now.
And to power this?
Yeah, we are using standard Sony 50 battery. So every rental house has it, every AbelCine has it to sell it.
Well, more importantly, electronics consumer store is going to have it on a Sunday afternoon when you get off the airplane and realize, oh my God.
That's right. When we're talking about temperature and battery, it's mostly interesting. The colder it gets, the batteries are lasting less duration. So for these batteries, it lasts a full working day in normal environment. This unit was used in Siberia. When they were using it in Siberia, it was minus 30 degrees, so that would be like minus 15 Fahrenheit, I think about it. This unit lasted a full half day, like a half working day. So if you're going to lunch break, get another battery in there and ready to go. But you have as well something displaying it here. And one of our STs wrote me, Tim, I loved your function. What you have done is, because when the battery is about to die, it's going to start blinking on here, the green button. And this is about 5 to 10 minutes before it starts dying. So you always have you finish your shoot. Finish the take, and then get another battery real quick in there and ready to go.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to move over to another camera configuration to look at the MagNum receiver. We've moved over to a Canon C300 Mark II, and we have the Canon 17-120 servo zoom. I wanted to start with this because I want to show how flexible the receiver is and how flexible your interconnection can be with different types of setups. So let's talk about the receiver here for the MagNum and the different setups possible.
Yeah. So basically what we're showing here is that's the 1 and 2 channel receiver. So if you look at it, the size, it's very lightweight. You have 1/4" 20 screw holes in there, so it's easy to mount it. We have a kind of cold shoe mounting, so if you wanted to mount it in a way to a camera on a cold shoe or to our cold shoe adapter, that's possible as well. And then you just slide it into it, mount it there. And what you can do with a CN drive is basically you just connect this one cable going into the lens, and then we are ready to go. So now it's starting up, and let's see, already moving.
Simple as that. Now, is that controlling focus and zoom?
It's controlling focus, iris, and zoom. So it's as well with a zoom rocker. But what's special about is, as well, I can go into the motor settings and say, hey, the operator, he wants to do his zoom rocker. So right now it's deactivated. If I go into the menu and say, let's make the zoom off. And now I'm ready to go with that. So the operator is zoom, and I'm doing just iris and focus for him.
And again, if that is something the operator wishes to do on and off all day long, we can put it on a user button.
Yes, it's just a button. And what's very interesting to know as well is we are compatible with the Canon drives, with the Fujinon Cabrio drives, as well the new Ingenieur ASU drive. And it's just a cable. And when we are connecting, you don't go into the settings, say, hey, this is an Ingenieur lens, this is a Fujinon lens. No, this unit starts automatically asking the lens, are you Canon? And if it says yes, then it's applying the right settings. If it's saying no, it continues to ask, are you Fujinon, are you Ingenieur, until it finds the right one.
Do you have to go in and do a calibration process in this setup?
No. On this setup, the motor driver itself has done its calibration, so we are just firing it up, and that's all we're doing.
Fantastic. All right.
On this setup, actually, just to give you a little idea about it, this drive is powered, and we are getting the power from the camera to that unit. So it's really just one cable going in there. As soon as you have done it, you're ready to go.
So power and 3 axes of adjustments.
Yeah, so you really have the 3 axes moving all together.
All right, well, let's move back to another camera because I want you to talk to us. Before we move on, let's talk about the modular construction of the receiver.
So our receivers come in a 1-channel, 2-channel, and a 3-channel version, but if you want to upgrade slowly one after one, you can start with a 1 or 2 channel system, and then on here you place this little module on there, and then you have the 3rd motor channel.
Okay, great.
pretty easy.
Yeah. All right, so now we've gone through that. Let's go to another camera and let's look at your motors.
Yes.
Good. So we step back here. Now Tim's going to show us the CDM100, the Chrosziel Digital Motor 100, and the different design features. Really interesting how you approach this. So please show us some of the features here.
Yeah, basically you have to know over 27 years of wireless phase control, which we have as a history. We were actually the first one on the market. We were always relied on other motors to be compatible with them. So when we developed this motor, we were not thinking about, hey, let's do another motor. You know, there's no reason to have the 10th kind of manufacture of being a motor. But what we did is we wanted to have one which is extremely lightweight, which is very small and very silent and fast. So we blended all of this into this little motor.
And you've got a unique bracket system, which when you showed me this, I thought it was very, very clever. And that is, we'll get a close-up of this for you to see, but essentially, if you just do it, Tim, what this little slider in here does, it allows us to instantaneously change it from 15 to 19 millimeter. And this alone is a huge thing for me as being a camera assistant, being in the cold weather and dropping the adapter sleeve. It's just, it's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah. Or if you're changing from one camera to the other one, and you're just wondering, where in my bag did I put it? Where is this little ring? You know, with this captive slider, never lose it again. Just slide it up or down, and you're ready to go with 15 or 19 mil rods.
So we have the 32 pitch gear on here. Do you have different diameters?
Yes. So we have two different diameters. So it really depends on the lens. If you have a lens with a high pitch and you want to run that motor on a focus and iris, for example, let's say a compact prime. So on the compact prime, for focus, you would use, for example, this little motor, and then for the iris, you would use this one. So it pops off just by pulling it.
Now, is that a magnetic or a mechanical?
It's not magnetic, but we have a little balling in there, and the bearings itself will hold it together with the two pins. And actually, we learned over the years that it's very important that this gear is really good on there, and so we directly put it into the newest development and put it on there. So you just pop it on, press it on there, ready to go.
Okay, so the ball bearings are holding in place, and the pins are registered so it can't slide.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a play inside as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So what you have to know as well about it is it comes in two different connector sizes. So the big one, it's basically so that it's compatible with all major brands. So we have tested it actually with you guys in New York on the MDR3. So that works perfectly with it. Of course, it works with our systems. And then if you want to have the little connector, it's called the S, like small connector. And that would work perfectly for free fly range, so that you really can put it onto a drone, onto the gimbal. And it's just this little motor, and you have no problems with balancing it as well.
All right, so next thing we want to talk about is this piece of gear right here, because it interfaces with the handset. Yeah,
so basically we have this little Watt sniper on here right now, and it transmits its signal into our device. And what we are showing on the hand unit is basically the distance of the Watt sniper. So if I put my hand in front of it, it goes down to the 0.7 and it goes up to a higher value. What's interesting as well is you can set inside it to switch it from imperial to metric. So if you have an international set and some would say, hey, I want it in metric, and the other one says, I want it in imperial, just give the second hand unit to one of the guys and have it in imperial and the other one in metric. So right now we have it in imperial. What is interesting as well to know is we are compatible as well with the Cinetape, with the RAUDM, with the Watt Sniper. And well, if you have one device which you think is not compatible yet, let us know, and it's just a little firmware upgrade, and we're going to make it compatible for you.
So it comes down to what's the price and availability.
Yeah, pricing point, that's often we surprise our customers, and actually we surprise you guys as well. It starts at $4,500 with a one-channel system, and then up to a three-channel system. It ranges between 10 to 15,000 depending on motors, depending on the cabling, sometimes you want spare cabling, double the cables. We have cable run stop cables for, Aria Alexas, Alexa Mini, the Red Epics,
everything that's
Panavisions, Vericams, everything which is out there. Really, LAN connectors for C300, C100, F55, FS5,
so
everything.
When you're budgeting these things, it's really important to understand that ultimately, and we get asked this a lot at Abel, how much is this thing? Well, how many cables do you need? How many systems are going to be run on? So that really determines the final price.
That's right. That's definitely right.
And readily available.
Well, the variability, you have to know, we saw this system is on the market now for about 2 years. And we just always integrate new functions like the little zoom rocker and stuff like that. But availability, it normally ships within 1 to 2 weeks. So it's really, if you order it, basically, we are starting to pack it, and as soon as it's ready, we ship it.
Okay. So just a tremendous amount of functionality, a great zoom rocker, the user buttons, very smart. The ability to look and see what your frequencies are, all these, and the ability to go right in with one cable to a servo zoom, do everything, including power. So really nice layout. Thanks so much for spending time with us, Tim. It's a wonderful unit. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you soon.